Can I help you?
Yeah, we were hoping to talk to somebody about this letter. My dad got it in the mail, and he thinks he won $1 million.
Yeah, that's just a marketing thing. Nobody ever wins that money.
That's what I told him. He won't believe me unless someone officially says it.
Well, I'm saying it officially. Does he have Alzheimer's?
No, he just believes what people tell him.
That's too bad. So he's a Republican.
What? No, I said he believes what people tell him. If he were a Republican, he would only believe what racists tell him.
Yes, of course. Well, does this still work? The podcast looks at movies and asks, does this still work? I'm Joe Dixon.
And I'm George Romacka. Today we're discussing Nebraska. The movie, not the state. From 2013.
That may come up as well.
Yeah. And some historical context. First, podcasty stuff. We're excited to announce that we've joined the Creator Accountability Network. CAN is a nonprofit dedicated to reducing harassment and abuse through ethical education and a system of restorative accountability. We joined because we care about the safety and well-being of our community members. If you feel our behavior or content has harmed someone, please report it to CAN, either via the reporting form on their website, creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org, or via their hotline at 617-249-4255. They'll help us make it right and avoid repeating that mistake in the future. CAN also needs volunteers from our communities to help with their work, so if you have skills you think would be helpful, or time and a desire to help, please visit their website to find out how you can volunteer. Most importantly, get the word out to other creators who you think would be interested in getting credentialed. Help us build safer communities together. You can reach us at dtswpod@gmail.com, on Facebook, Letterboxd, and our YouTube channel. Joe is on Blue Sky at joedixon.bsky.social. Please tell your friends about us, even the ones who used to date your dad back in the day, and leave 5-star ratings everywhere. You can pick what we watch and get extra per episode content by funding us on Patreon for as little as $1 a month at patreon.com/dtswpod.
Considering that I have a lot of half brothers and sisters, I'd say it was my mom who dated a lot, actually. God only knows what my dad was up to. Probably not much better. Anyway, George, take us back to 2013.
And that's the way it was.
This movie is about the elderly and is driven by what is arguably a scam. So, we'll look at those from a Nebraska perspective because title. Joe, give us the first headline from the Omaha World Herald of Omaha, Nebraska.
In China, aged mother sues her children. It used to be the elderly could count on care. Now the law must sometimes enforce family loyalty.
China? But George, I thought you said Nebraska. Well, the newspaper's in Nebraska, and when I read this story, I just had to include it.
Oh, so this isn't Nebraska, China.
Right. This is China.
Gotcha.
From a Nebraska newspaper. Starting in 1970, the median human age in the world has been climbing from 20.3 years old in 1970 to 30.9 years old in 2025. People are living longer, but also having fewer children, so our population as a whole is skewing older.
Well, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, well, depends.
Remains to be seen. Remains to be seen and how many remains there are to be seen.
Indeed.
For many, this means that the elder care that used to come from within families just isn't available. In many countries, including the United States, some portion of that care comes from the state. In China...
Not for too much longer.
Right?
Good job, America. I'm sorry, let's go back to China.
In China, it never really had to. Filial piety, or veneration for the elderly, was a core value of Chinese society, and families took it seriously. They still do, but the realities of caring for the elderly are more complicated and more expensive than providing room and board. The family in this story has been keeping their mother in a storage shed when that mother sued to have her children care for her. The Chinese government was seeing an epidemic of elder abuse and neglect and amended its laws to mandate that children, quote, emotionally support their elderly parents.
That's a law?
Yep.
How can you legally force anyone to emotionally support their parents?
That's a good question,
That sounds
Joe.
unenforceable.
Yeah. This story is a web of responsibility dodging, but in a context where even having an abundance of children doesn't mean those children will have the resources to properly care for aging parents. Even if they had the resources, there wasn't anywhere to spend them. There were 20 retirement home beds for every 1,000 elderly.
Wow.
That's all pretty depressing. So let's look at something a little happier.
Before we get into something a little bit happier, it doesn't really resolve what happened with their mother suing?
Nope. Well, now she lives with one of her children that can barely afford to have them live with her.
Ugh. See, that's the problem with the mindset of, oh, you should have children because who's going to take care of you when you're older? Well, there's no guarantee your kids are going to take care of you when you're older, or can take care of you when you're older. This is just the way it is. So let's hear the happier story.
Yep. One of the hardest things about getting old is that sometimes it means we lose our memories. There's lots of research into ways to combat this, and this is one of my favorites. Joe, give us this next headline from the Star-Herald of Scottsbluff, Nebraska.
Music program to bring back memories at Mitchell Care Center.
The idea is simple. We can often access memories better when the emotional context is tied to a particular stimulus. Our sense of smell is really powerful in this regard. Music is another way to coax memories out. Hearing the music you heard in your life can trigger the memories you made while you were around it.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm 44, and so have some oddly specific memories tied to Chuck Mangione's Feel So Good. I remember losing a baseball card in the seatbelt hole in my parents' Monte Carlo. I remember hearing it when walking through a store with my mom. And I remember the moment in Hawaii where my ex-sister-in-law identified that song for me because I didn't know what song it was. The Mitchell Care Center became the first in the U.S. to be certified as a music and memory facility. I don't know what that certification would entail, but the residents seem to enjoy getting some of their memories back by having live musicians come in.
Wow, cool.
They really liked when the kids' choirs came around and sang Christmas songs.
I could live without that.
Yeah, but you can also imagine how many of possibly the happier memories in people's lives are specifically tied to Christmas songs.
Sure. I'm just specifically talking about myself. I
Right.
Without it.
Right, yeah. This last story is about a text message scam, but could easily have been snail mail or even email. Joe, give us our last headline, also from the Star-Herald.
Turretin police advise of a potential scam.
This particular scam was someone pretending to be a U.S. soldier in Afghanistan, and following their directions would lead to sending a stranger a bunch of money and possibly having your identity stolen. The Chadron Police Department gives a list of signs that a thing might be a scam. I'm going to focus on what I believe are the most important ones. Number 1, an offer too good to be true. In general, strangers will not be contacting you with things you want to hear. Just period.
Like they won't call you to say, I'm going to give you money and sex.
Yes, those are things that just don't appear out of the ether. Number 2, they'll use scare tactics or time pressure narrative to encourage you to act immediately. Because if you wait, you'll think about it and realize it's a scam. So they want you to make a decision right the fuck now.
Right. This is, not to cut you off here, but this is what happened with my mother. Not a mailing scam, but I believe I told you this. She once got a call of someone pretending to be my nephew. And my mother saying, well, you don't sound the same, said my nephew's name. And he said, oh, I had a car accident. That's why I sound different. But please get some money together. And my mother and my sister and I both got upset with our mother. She said she told us later about this phone call. she says, I told him, I'm blind. I can't just go out of the house and go. I'm like, mother, don't tell him you live alone and that you're blind. Why do you do? And that's not the first time she's done it. Just drove us crazy. Anyway, rest of the scam.
I mean, not for nothing. I wasn't always the skeptic I am today. And I got an email out of the ether. This was when I was my oldest was an infant at this point. So 23 years ago. And this guy was like, yeah, I'm a relative from China and there's this money. And I kind of had a couple of email exchanges back and forth before my hackles were like, no, this doesn't I wasn't aware of this kind of scam yet. I didn't fall for it, but I could have.
Sure.
It was a more credulous time of my life.
Also, I mean, for a lot of people, as we mentioned with the elderly there in China, a lot of people are lonely and don't have a lot of connections, so they might hear from someone who is a scam. Even in the back of their mind, they know it's a scam, but someone's talking to them.
Yeah.
It's connected with another human being.
Number 3, they will ask you for any personal or protected information.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they steal your identity.
Yep.
Anybody that, like, if you have an account with somebody, they already have that information. They might need you to verify part of that information, but they won't be asking you for it, like, wholesale. And honestly, if you get a call from an organization that you have an account with that is asking you for that information, say, look, I'm going to hang up and call the company myself and verify this and deal with it that way. And if they are legit, they'll be like, we understand that. We 100% support you in doing that. Yes.
Yes. I've had calls like that. I've had these type of scams. Yeah, where they're calling me about some personal information. I'm like, I'm not getting back to you. I'm just going to call the company like Chase or
banks are the big, because you trust your bank.
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't, this email, let me just call the bank or whoever and see, make sure this is real. I'm not just contacting through email or God knows not from a phone call. By the way, there's also some sort of scam where somebody seems to think I have a car. I'm constantly called about this car that I have that I've ordered. I need to go pick up or something. I have no idea. It's really bizarre. Anyway, sorry. Finish.
No problem. I get scam texts on my work phone that I don't get on my personal phone. It's weird. I got a voicemail the other day about, like, I need you to authorize this $900 phone you ordered. I just ignored it because I didn't do that, so I'm not going to authorize it.
Yeah, you're not the best with money, but even you wouldn't order a $900 phone.
I mean, my phone costs more than $900, but I'm paying for it. Yeah, but I pay for it over the course of a contract.
Okay, well,
yeah. Right. Anyway, the other big thing, they're asking you for money.
Yes. What happened with my mother? The guy called her up saying that it was my nephew and like, oh, you got to bring money. I'm in jail or something. Why she has to bring money to him specifically when he's in jail, I don't know, but the whole thing was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's nice of them to cut to the chase and just ask for the thing that they want, but randos shouldn't be asking you for money.
In a wonderful world, family should be asking you for money, but
yeah.
But definitely not randos, 100%.
All right, Joe, let's talk about Nebraska.
Let's do that indeed. Let's get into the film summary. Let's begin with who the director was, and that is Alexander Payne. And I've seen his work in Election, The Descendants, Sideways, The Holdovers, and Citizen Ruth. I think I may have seen every film this man made, which was surprising. I didn't realize that until I saw the credits. Oh, I've seen this, and I think those are all his movies. And I've liked every one. Oops, gave it away. Anyway, and this is also written by Bob Nelson.
Yep.
Have you even heard of this movie?
Nope.
Okay. The blurbs. IMDb says, an aging, booze-addled father makes a trip from Montana to Nebraska with his estranged son in order to claim $1 million mega sweepstakes marketing prize. Okay.
I don't know that I don't know that estranged is a fair assessment. Like, they weren't super duper close, but they weren't like estranged in the sense that they don't estranged means cut off ties to and like you are not interacting with. They still lived in the same town. He still knew like how to he was around. He gets
called when something happens with the father. Yeah. I think probably the other brother is closer to the one who's more estranged.
But even he's not. He's just less interested in having a relationship with his father.
He's definitely more pissed.
Yeah, but he's also got his own life.
Yes. Anyway, here's what YouTube has to say about this picture. And YouTube always has a lot to say.
Well, okay, but I'm going to cut to the end of this. This is copy and pasted review from the Los Angeles Times. That's where the YouTube blurb came from.
Don't give it away. I'm going to say it. You're ruining the end. The twist ending. From Academy Award winner Alexander Payne, the director of Sideways and The Descendants, comes the film that critics are calling an American masterpiece.
Okay.
when a father, Bruce Dern, and his adult son, Will Forte, embark on a journey to claim $1 million prize. What begins as a fool's errand becomes a search for the road to redemption. Discover why Nebraska is one of those movies I'll watch for the rest of my life. That's Glenn Whipp from the Los Angeles Times. Everyone knows Glenn, right?
No.
That's why he's there. Everyone must know Glenn from the Los Angeles Times.
I mean,
Anyway,
there's a lot of nothing that happens in this movie. It's a weird movie to watch for the rest of your life.
Well, we'll see. We'll discuss. But let's get into some of the characters we're going to discuss, and we'll probably bring up others as well. But the main ones we're going to discuss is Woody Grant, and he's played by Bruce Dern. And I see Mr. Dern in The Hateful Eight, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Peanut Butter Falcon, Django Unchained, Support Your Local Sheriff, The Trip, and Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte. David Grant is played by Will Forte. I've seen him in Booksmart, and That's My Boy.
The child rape comedy.
Yes. Well, we have it on the list, right?
It is on the list, yes.
Somewhere way down there, but we will get to it. And George, where do you know Mr. Forte from?
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
Kate Grant is played by June Squibb, and both George and I have seen her in and Out, and I've seen her in Thelma, Palm Springs, and Far From Heaven. Ross Grant is played by Bob Odenkirk, and I've seen him in Nobody, Dolomite Is My Name, The Post, and of course I've seen him in the TV series Breaking Bad and its spinoff, Better Call Saul. Let's give you a little bit of the plot. Will Forte plays a guy whose life isn't going anywhere fast. One day, he decides to take his booze-addled old man to Nebraska because his dad thinks he won $1 million smackers.
Okay.
Yes?
You're using words from the IMDb blurb.
I'm literally just writing what I wrote. I'm not. I mean, I guess I would use the same words, but how many ways can you describe this picture?
I don't know, Joe. There's a bunch.
Well, this is how I'm describing it, buddy. Along the route, his mother, brother, and other family members join in. As they travel, the son learns more about the man his father was. And now let's get into the discussion here. Now, George, for me, you said a lot doesn't happen, but a lot of not happening still related a lot to me. And one thing that really related to me from this picture is when the scenes where the family is all together, and rather than talk to each other, they're all watching TV. Either watching a TV show or they're watching football, and doing as little conversation with each other as humanly possible. Boy, is that my family. You name the holiday. If I go over there, it's Thanksgiving, Christmas, and we got to bring a movie, and we're watching that movie, and we ain't saying shit to each other.
That is very different from my family gatherings.
Yeah, I want to hear that. How does your family work?
We talk to each other. It's weird. Like Christmas, I get together with Christmas Eve, I get together with my dad's side of the family. Like, we all get together. There's usually a TV, but it's playing like a kid's movie so the kids can be distracted by it. The rest of us are catching up on what we've been doing all year. It helps to not see them all the time. But these people hadn't seen each other in years, and they just sit down and watch football.
Yeah, they just have nothing to say to each other. Well, just because you're related doesn't mean you have a lot to say to each other. I mean,
yeah.
We overdo the whole concept of family in this country. Just because I am a blood relative with you doesn't mean I have a lot in common with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, what does this movie say about children and their relationship with their extremely flawed parents, do you think?
I don't think this movie can say anything about that as a writ large thing. I think it's an example of what one of those relationships could look like. I think that people, none of us know what the hell we're doing when we become parents. We're all making it up as we go. And the older we get, the more we recognize that, and we start to sort of depersonalize the things that happened to us as kids, as our parents were just trying to do the best that they could. Flawed parents, everybody's flawed. Like, there's no not flawed parents. So everybody has their idiosyncrasies. I don't know how to really.
Well, for me, I think it does say a lot about people's relationship with their flawed parents. I mean, it doesn't get too deep into it, but you see the two brothers have different relationship, not only different relationship with their dad, but different relationship with even their mom. I think the older son is closer to the mom than he is to their dad. And if you remember, at one point, when they're talking about their past, not that the brothers, but the Will Forte's character is talking to Bruce Dern about, he would take the booze that his father, because his father was just drinking all the time, and pour it out. And he said, I was trying to save your life. And he was 8 when he was doing this. So when a child is becomes the parent of the father, that I think that just says something about how screwed up families can be and how, an 8-year-old shouldn't be trying to make sure his dad is okay. That's completely reverses the way the relationship's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And certainly, I've at times found myself that I had to take care of stuff for my mother, which I really shouldn't have because I was a child. Yeah, I think it says a lot about parenting our extremely flawed parents, because they're flawed in different ways.
Okay.
And thank God, at least my mother, and I didn't really know my dad, but I was raised by my grandmother. Thank God they weren't drunks, because I don't know, bad enough what was going on in that house. When I was something like glug, 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 glug. That must have been really rough. Do you think this movie is about the American dream?
I don't think there is an American dream. I think there's 350 million American dreams.
Well, in the propaganda of this country, we do say there is an American dream.
Yeah, but that's a lie. There isn't one, and there is no guarantee in this country, and that's never been more apparent than it is today.
Mm.
Like the white picket fence, 3.5 kids in a house. Who the fuck can afford that nowadays? That's gone.
The irony about the American dream is that I honestly don't know where it dates back to, but in point of fact that American history, it was never true. Oh, you work hard, you build yourself up. It was always the idea you had wealthy people, you had poorer people, and then the Depression happened, and then World War II happened, and that expanded the middle class. Suddenly, a lot of people who normally in the rest of history wouldn't have had money suddenly had money, and that's where the American dream came from. And people propagandized this idea if you work hard and blah blah blah, and of course they leave out unions and the struggles that people had to be able to get to that point. Besides also the Depression, and it took America losing money for it to decide, hey, maybe we should spend money on people to have better lives.
Yep.
Which, again, throughout most of American history, was not true. There was no New Deal, back in the 1840s or whatever. It wasn't until the 1950s, and that's where the dream came from. So,
in less than 100 years, we forgot whatever we learned, and now that middle class is shrinking again.
By its own hand.
Yeah.
It's doing it to itself because, it forgot its history. We worked very hard to get here. No, we didn't. We just magically, Jesus got it for us or something. Or we're entitled to it by divine right. So, that's one of the worst things if you read about union people, union members. And we did, remember? Because we, what was it, Devil and Miss Jones?
Mm-hmm.
Not a porno, ladies and gentlemen.
We did an entire
That's true. Yeah, but I'm just thinking of the main one. Because we were reading up on all these strikes at the time this film came out, I forget, 1930 or whatever it was, which surprised me. It's wild how many strikes are going on in this country. And as people got older, people started dying, they forgot how much they struggled to get what they have. People just magically think bosses give us 8-hour workday that they didn't have to be struggled for. People forget that the weekend exists because of union, just gone for their memory banks. And that's why you got all these guys voting for Republicans who hate unions, even though they're in unions themselves, because they've just forgotten, how much we work to get here. So that's a long way of saying, there once was an American dream, ostensibly, and then people forgot about it. Plus, also, people hated that the idea that women and blacks wanted in, and people of color wanted in. Oh, no, can't share.
How dare they?
Yes, how dare they want a nice house as well. All right. Does Woody's stubbornness, that's Bruce Dern's character's name, does Woody's stubbornness relate to toxic masculinity? And how much has that rubbed off on his boys?
Okay, so the follow-up question assumes a yes to the first part of it.
I guess so.
So, yes, because there's almost no examples of non-toxic masculinity in American media. But part of that, this isn't the outward... his stubbornness is also partially the side of toxic masculinity that is poisonous to men. The not speaking up part. Because he was also a doormat. Yeah. He was stubborn, but he was a doormat. This was end of life stubborn. This was, I want to do this one fucking thing I want to do. One thing. Yeah, sure, I drank a lot, but I want one thing for me. I want to go chase this dream. Like that.
Well, ostensibly, he says he's doing it for the kids at the end. He says like,
which he can't even do for himself. Like he couldn't justify it to himself unless he was doing it. Like that's toxicity of a culture, not just masculinity.
But do you think a woman would behave this way? And the way he behaves in this film? Like, okay, let me set this up for people who may not have seen a picture of this one and what we're talking about. Woody gets this letter from a marketing company saying, hey, you won $1 million. And everyone says, no, you didn't. But he refused to believe it. So he gets up and he keeps trying to go and get the $1 million. Keeps trying to head to Nebraska until his son decides, oh, I'll just drive him. So convince you. So this man is very, very stubborn. And George is right. As we watch the film, we see he's been a doormat a lot through a lot of parts of his life. But yeah, at the end of his life, he's deciding, I'm going to do this. This one thing. I'm really going to get this money. Even though everyone's telling him, no, there is no money.
Yeah.
So he's stubborn, but it was also like, I guess it's just the end of a life thing. So like, this is the finally I'm going to actually do something.
Yes, the one time he was stubborn.
Right. How much of that you think is rubbed off on his kids?
One more than the other. Definitely the Will Forte character more than the other one. Because
really,
the Will Forte character is the one that goes all in on him with him. Like, all right, fine, I'll do it. And then when his mother tries to dissuade him from helping, he's like, nope, I'm going to do this thing with Dad. Like, I'm just going to see this through so he'll stop talking about it. But he commits to the bit.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. What I'm thinking of when I said really is because Bob Odenkirk's character, the brother Ross, maybe what I'm thinking is rather talk to masculinity, Morrissey is more driven just to prove his. Although I don't think the person necessarily said he was a bad kid or anything. I don't get the impression the guys were abused, except they were just upset that their dad just drank too much. But he seems driven by, I'm not going to be like you people. I am going to make sure my life is so much better than what you... Because he's the most successful in the family. He's on television.
He's on TV, yeah.
Yeah. He's a newscaster.
Married, even.
And married, seemingly a successful marriage, although we never see his wife. And at one point when he goes out to visit the family, they say, well, where's your wife? Oh, she had a recital with the kids. It doesn't play much in the film, but I got the impression the wife did not want to see these people. That's the way I read it. It's like the wife, like, I met I met my in-laws. I don't like them and don't want to have to deal with them.
Mm-hmm. I can sign on to that read.
Why do the boys have such different relationships with their dad?
Because they're different people. And different people have different relationships with people, even if it's the same other person. Like, their lives took very different trajectories. And even that can affect what their relationship to that launch point was.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and I can't remember what book this was from, but I read this biography for this guy who had a wonderful childhood. Loved his parents very much. They were very older when they had him, and he thought they were fantastic. His older brother, however, had other ideas of how his parents were. And he does not remember them being so lovely and wonderful. And it just like, even though they were raised by the same people, wildly different childhoods, just incredibly different. So yeah, even if you're raised in the same family, you can still, even if by the same parents or the same biology, the same economic thing, it's still going to be wildly different.
Yep.
The relationship of the older kids is just going to be different from the younger kids. The parents, number one, they now know at least a better idea how to raise a child as opposed to when they first had one. And plus, in this case, the parents are much older, so they're much more, it's out to be zany and crazy and everything, where they much more were with the younger kids. So yeah, you're right. The fact that you're raised in the same family means nothing. You still have very different childhoods. What do you think of their mother, who I think is the wildest person in this picture?
She had the most fun the fun character to play in this movie. I have really mixed feelings about her.
Oh, right.
Because she's a bitch. She's mean. She has this crazy mean streak, but she says it, but she doesn't sound any different when she's being mean than when she's not being mean. So you have to really be listening to hear how mean she's being. And she's really mean to her husband. Maybe some of it's deserved, but not all of it. But the way, she's dismissive and she talks down to him, but then she also shows up in ways.
She does.
Like, it's weird. And like, and
she protects him. She when the family starts to gang up on him, she says, no, you're not. Fuck you.
And also, like, so one of the things is Woody is from Nebraska. Like, that's where he grew up. That's where he met Kate and everything. And so he had friends there, right? And those friends took advantage of him, and some of them misremember or do remember, I don't know. But one of them borrowed an air compressor and never gave it back. So in a out of uncharacteristic moment of sibling unity, when they think they are at that guy's place and he's not home, they try to steal that air compressor back. So they steal a air compressor from a barn before they're driving away, and the dad's like, that's not my air compressor. And then the mom's like, oh, that's not that person's house. That's these other people's house, and they're sweet. And the boys are like, fuck.
I'm your French. Not only are they sweet, they've assaulted the earth. Oh, they're the most wonderful people. Just make the kids feel really bad about stealing.
So they go back to put it back in, and the parents are in the back of the car. So the brothers get the thing, and they're in the barn when the people come home. And Kate just sort of plays it off like, oh, we were waiting for you to get home, but now we don't have time to hang out, so bye. And then they drive off. And then after the people go into the house, like, the boys come running out and down the street. She played she committed to the bit and like covered for her kids who were doing the thing. Like, she's the most fun character in the movie.
She's definitely the most fun character. I want to get into some of the things she does in the cemetery, but first, I want to say when that whole scene, when the boys come running out of the bar, she drives around from them, and then she picks them up. I mean, they don't say it, but I get the impression this is not the first time she's had to lie for them. and had to save their asses, and they come out. I mean, and like I said, it doesn't seem from that's the way I read that scene. It's like, This woman's way too good at this. She knows exactly what to do immediately. She's done this before. There's no way this has not happened before. But you want to set up what for me was the most hilarious scene of the movie when they go visit. Her husband is now in I guess he is in Nebraska. No, he's in some other part of Montana, right? Where he's in town. Well, he sees his old family. I guess that is in Nebraska, right?
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten to the rest of to Lincoln, Nebraska. Anyway. He's in town, and she decides, okay, I'm going to come. I'll visit you, my son and my husband. I'll come. And once she gets in town, she goes, all right, I want to go to the cemetery first to say my regards. And she gets to that cemetery, and she just drags everybody. You're right. Her tone does not change one bit. Whether she likes them or hated them, she just both barrels. And what does she do? At the first of all, she talked about her husband's sister, and what her name was?
What a slut!
Slut! Yeah. What a slut! Just out of nowhere. And it says, Mom, and she goes like, "What? It's true. I liked her, but she was a real." I'm like, wow.
And then she goes over to the grave of like the one guy that ever turned her down, and she's like, "This is what you were missing out on."
She holds up her dress. For those who can't see what George just did, he mimed holding up her dress, and this happens in the movie, shows off her coochie to the grave.
Or her granny panties.
Or her granny. We don't see what literally it is. We just see it from the back, but it's still like, wow. But no, this is a guy, she said, he was trying to get into her pants.
Yeah.
She thought it was boring.
Yeah.
Oh, and then what she says is like, see what you could have gotten if you didn't talk about brain so much.
Yeah.
I lost it. I just did not stop laughing. And I've seen this movie before. Completely forgot that scene existed. I would have lost my goddamn mind if my mother ever did anything like that. It would have like, what the hell? We're talking about putting Dad away. We're gonna have to put you away. That's insane. What the fuck are you doing? I mean, thankfully no other people are around, but still, like, what is that? Oh, man, that was funny as hell. Yeah, you're right. That the actress June Squibb must have had the most fun of anyone on that set. That mother is fucking Looney Tunes, and she says all sorts of wild.
I think she had the most lines in the movie too. Like, even though she was, I would, because she talks a lot when she's talking.
So it's true. I mean, imagine for those who haven't seen the film and want to set this up. Imagine Estelle Getty's character from Golden Girls, just and that note of just sarcasm and just nasty comments all the time. That's the mother. Oh, I laughed. Anyway, George, do you think anyone ever had any respect for Woody? Because once it came out he wasn't a millionaire, people were laughing at him or just outright hostile.
I think the lady at the newspaper was the only person from his past that had any respect for him.
Right. At one point, the son goes to visit this old lady because he has to go to the newspaper.
Yeah, this newspaper sends a kid to take his photograph because it's basically Woody's ex-girlfriend running the newspaper that she ran with her now late husband. She sends her grandson to take a picture of him because she's heard he's going to be a millionaire. She wants to do a story on him. So David goes to visit her and like, hey, my dad didn't actually win anything. So I don't know what you want to do with that. And she's like, well, I'll just write a story about, Woody came back with Kate and visited and it'll be nice. And I thought that was a really I liked her. I liked her character. That was like, I'll turn it into a story anyway. It'll just be something else. Like Woody's back. It's a story. It's a small town. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, she's a very sweet lady. Yes. But
she lost to Kate is the framing of this dating story. Like it was going to be her or Kate that ended up marrying Woody, and Woody chose Kate. And this lady she wasn't upset about it. She wasn't bitter about it, but she also had some information for David. Like David learned things about his dad in this movie. His dad got shot down coming back from World War II. His dad was cheated on his mom, almost left her. Find that out really late in the movie. So yeah, like it's. I think she was. If anybody respected him, it was her.
I would agree with that interpretation. I'm not sure about. I mean, obviously, his nephews didn't respect him. But I'm not sure, and I'm not sure about the relationship with his brother because they really don't talk much. And at one point they're visiting, and they're both asleep on a couch, and their wives are in the kitchen talking. The women can talk, the men are just like got nothing to say.
Oh, the nephews, one of whom is a rapist.
Yes, they put that in there. No, sexual assaulter, and there is a difference according to his mother.
Yeah, according to him, and he'll tell you all about the difference if you ask him. Yeah, I thought that was a good bit of writing on that. But the other lady's just like, oh, that's nice.
I think the writing through all this is immaculate. I can imagine knowing these people. I mean, Grant, I don't know if I would know a woman quite as much as that mother. She might be a little too a movie-ish, but everyone else I can imagine. And God knows I had a drunk uncle. Unfortunately, I don't know what his kids thought of him, but it wasn't great. So I can understand all of that. Really, that's all I got to ask. So other than, does it still work? Does this film still work?
I mean, I thought I don't see why. I don't know why it had to be shot in black and white. That's annoying.
Why? Why do people not like black and white?
Now that you ask the question, I don't know an answer to it. I feel like it's it's almost a pretentious way to try and make an artistic point.
It is a very interesting divide. I'm in my 50s, you're in your 40s, but people your age and younger hate black and white. Do not want to sit through black and white. And I think part of it is, and I think we may have discussed this before, is that whereas I was raised on watching black and white movies on TV when I was a kid, so it wouldn't seem weird to me, to younger people who all the black and white pictures, if you see them at all, is on some either basic cable or even more likely premium cable where they don't see it at all. So they just never were raised with it.
The thing is, I never say anything about black and white movies when again, Devil and Mrs. Jones. That was a black and white movie. Made when black and white movies were what you made. This was 2013. We absolutely had color cameras at that point.
No. That's still the same point because, yeah, that was made, but you knew it would be black and white because it was a black and white film. You're objecting that we have color, but he still put it in a black and white. And again, I've heard that criticism before. People are like, why do you have to make it in black and white? We have color now.
I just feel like it's a lazy way to make an art to try and be more artful. I'm going to shoot it in black and white.
It's clearly an artistic choice. I disagree that it's lazy. It worked for me, and it's so, I'll tell you the truth, it's so weird. Until I went back to, put the script together for this episode, I'd forgotten it was in black and white. I went back and like, I didn't even notice. It didn't even register with me.
Now,
like I said, I'm accustomed to seeing black and white pictures today and from yesterday, so to me it's all the same, I guess.
To be perfectly fair, like, the only reason I'm bringing it up is because we're doing this podcast. Like, didn't like have it start and be like, oh god damn it, a fucking black and white movie from 2013. Like, that didn't play anything in my actual experience of the movie. Right. Only in my afterwards deliberately trying to be more analytical of it, I'm like, I don't get that choice. But other than that, like, I think it was a solid story. I cared about the characters. Funny story, I got my cabaret thing coming up the Thursday after we record this, and one of the songs I'm doing is Time After Time. And it was funny because they end up in a karaoke bar and some lady is singing Time After Time. And so I took a screenshot of that and sent it to my cabaret group, like, ha, this is in this movie I'm watching. But then the guy that tried to that stole the air compressor gets up there and sings it in the ghetto. I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good song. I don't know that Elvis necessarily should have been singing it, much less any other random white guy singing it. Yeah, I think it worked.
I also believe it works. I really enjoy this movie. To be honest, I don't remember what my reaction was to it in 2013, but today, not that long ago, I loved it. I thought it was really powerful. They are characters that I like, even if I don't like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the characters. I thought they're very real. Yeah, everybody in it, I've met some version of this person in real life, so I can totally relate to it. Even though it's a completely white movie, there's not like one brown face in the whole goddamn thing. But yeah, weirdly enough, I related to it very, very much. Even the relationship between the two brothers, who I think seem to get along pretty well, considering, I mean, in so much we got little glimpses of their lives. They seem to be pretty good together.
And they can come together. Like, they're not so... They don't have so much animus between them that they can't join forces or, like, enjoy each other's company.
Right, yeah, the animus is more directed towards more dad than anything. And then again, more on the older brother, on Gross's part. I don't really got nothing more to say about this, so I guess we both thought it worked.
Mm-hmm.
What's up next?
All right, next week, we'll be talking about Donnie Darko from 2001.
Boy, another film I haven't seen in ages. When was the last time you
I've seen it. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Interesting to see if it still works. That's probably the first Jake Gyllenhaal movie I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's it for this episode. I'm Joe Dixon. Thanks for listening.
And I'm George Romaca. Thanks for listening indeed, because if a podcast drops and there's no one around to hear it, it's just another collection of ones and zeros that doesn't matter.
You've been listening to Does This Still Work? Produced by Joe Dixon and George Romaca.
This content is CAN credentialed, which means you can report instances of harassment, abuse, or other harm on their hotline at 617-249-4255 or on their website at creatoraccountabilitynetwork.org.
The hosts can be reached via social media, email, or the contact page at dtswpod.com. Be good to yourself and others, because that still works.
The Chadron Police Department gave a list of things that... Nope.
You're still thinking of songs.
Yep. I'm always thinking of songs. So, from No Stupid Questions, if Satan punishes wrongdoers, then why is he considered the bad guy? All right, from Stupid Questions, and why are the washing machine minutes not real minutes? So, from Random Questions, what do you like or dislike about the month or season you were born in? From No Stupid Questions, has fascism ever been defeated internally, i.e. without an invasion by another country? From Stupid Questions, can you knock yourself out with a punch by punching yourself in the face? Alright, if Hitler never existed, who would be the go-to evil figure in our thought experiments? From Stupid Questions, Besides MySpace, what did you eventually move on from? All right, so last question from Random Questions. If you could have one question answered, what would it be?
Just